Welcome, folks, to Devoxx UK 2025 speaker interviews. I have next to me the lovely Carol Richmond, who has done several sessions here at Devoxx UK 2025. And the reason being is because she has touched on very important subjects for developers, both technical and people-related subjects. So my favorites, based on the title of your talks, let's start with the people-related talks. And go through those. So I think the first one that you touched on was like how to ask questions.
Yeah, that's right.
So how to ask questions in 2025. Tell me more about that one.
Yeah, so I'm in a kind of interesting situation because I've been a developer who's asked questions in forums or even in mail groups. I am that old to remember when we had dedicated mail groups. So I've had the frustration of questions not being answered or not in the way that you expect. But also as a moderator now as well on the Elastic forums, I see how people are changing with AI tools and also with their experience, changing the way they ask questions and sometimes wondering why they don't get answers because of particular anti-patterns that they have in there.
Oh, wow.
So I wanted to just give some general hints and tips of, well, how to ask questions, what information should be in there, but also how should we be using AI tools in forums as well? Is it okay? Is it not okay? And then, if you are going to use AI tools, because we know they're everywhere and we can't stop that really, is there ways to use it in a way that's helpful? I.e., make sure you validate the answers because an AI tool doesn't know everything. And I just wanted to try and make it as helpful as possible, but also with a bit of humor. So I did put some real examples in there. I did obviously obfuscate them. I didn't want to kind of,
expose personal information and details or find the person.
No, absolutely not.
Yeah.
I mean, I talked about that in terms of keys and things, but I don't want to put forward others' public information. That's not
the best.
fair. Yeah, but I just wanted to come from a helpful place because I've made these mistakes too. That's the thing. So I would like to help other people not make these mistakes.
That's a very important thing that you bring up, like people using AI even when asking questions. And I do understand that because I am a non-native English speaker, and you can easily go for that way of like, yeah, but that tool knows English better than me, and maybe they phrase it better. But when you're using such a tool, always think about the fact that it might dilute the goal or the message or the actual goal to get the answer you wanted for, just because it's phrased more pedantically or more beautiful. You're asking for totally different things because the AI doesn't feel things as you are probably feeling when you're asking that.
Yeah, and I think that's fine. I mean, not just on forums, but on content. I have amazing colleagues I work with that are non-native English speakers as well, and they use AI tools for things like translation. And I think that's a powerful thing that's really helpful.
Yeah.
But it doesn't just, these things can still hallucinate. So it will make up things like API endpoints. It will make up code examples that are not correct. So if you're using those, let's check that they're right. It's okay, just run it through and say, hey, this works. And it works with the version that someone said. So yeah, let's go for it. You can use it that way.
If I have a nickel for every time that I saw that a JDK enhancement proposal is searched for a total different purpose that it actually does, or compatibility phrases or code that doesn't exist, doesn't compile, or but yeah, this is kind of a thing coming up. Like AIs tend to hallucinate when they don't have enough context, when they do not have enough information to produce something, and they can even produce the opposite. I have seen compatibility for security algorithms that are actually totally incompatible.
Oh my goodness.
Being stated in a blog post, and I was like, oh God, don't, that's wrong. And what's important, especially as a content creator, is like not to lose trust of those people that read you, because you always have to think about there are actual humans that are going to read the content of your answers, of your blog posts, of people that are going to watch your videos. And if you're propagating misinformation, that's pretty much what you're doing, you're going to lose that trust that is probably earned so difficult.
Yes, absolutely.
So that was one, and there's another one on how to endanger a developer, how to
destroy
a developer. So that's a very strong title as well. How to destroy a developer, and it's not providing like dooming I think. I
No,
hope.
no.
Ways to do that to people, like torture developers.
Yeah, no, I'm not going down that avenue, you know.
Okay.
I've been a developer myself. That doesn't sound
What not to
fun.
do? Actually, it's a talk on what not to do to put in danger your developer team.
Of course. I mean, the title "How to Destroy a Software Engineer" can be, it's obviously in jest. I'm not suggesting you do that.
Yes.
The reason that this came about, this talk, was obviously I'm an advocate and I get to speak to loads of engineers, but I've been an engineer myself. And as I have more conversations at conferences, all these anti-patterns, the mistakes I've made, the mistakes I've seen when I was a manager or a lead, people are still seeing them. And one of the things that I really wish had happened when I, got told, oh, by the way, now you're a manager, now you need to go off and lead people because you can do this because you've done the role. It's more complicated than that. And I feel like in all of these positions, in order to be effective and to build good software and have good culture in teams, it's not just about telling us the right things to do, it's also about telling us the wrong things to do. I mean, if we think about architecture, we talk about architectural anti-patterns in software all the time.
Yeah.
But why don't we talk about them in culture? And we should. So I cover, it's a 50-minute lightning fast speed. And
that's good. I like it.
Short and sweet.
You concentrated a great message in 15 minutes. I mean, we live in an era where we like to see content that's shorter and shorter because we cannot, spend that much time on watching hours of content. So I think it's great. Don't need to justify.
Absolutely. Thank
so
you.
15 minutes on learning and what not to do if you're leading people.
Yes, and it's things that are actionable as well. So it's around in software teams things like alerts and how we actually use alerts incorrectly on our software systems, and that can lead to burnout. It's around code review culture. It's around, non-deterministic testing. It even gets a bit meta towards the end because we talk about conference attendance and why this is an important thing to make sure engineers go to events to grow. But sometimes it can be difficult to attend. You've got to make sure that you have
to meet all those deadlines, right?
Deadlines. You've also got the notion of cost of tickets and things like that, and all of these factors.
Maybe accommodation.
Yeah. But that gets in the way, and it's important to kind of call these things out and saying these are things that are potentially not great, things that we can make better, and also opposingly how we can do that as well. It is partially a talk that's a bit therapeutic for me, given I've seen all of these things. But it's one I enjoy giving, and hopefully people, when they check it out, will enjoy it too.
That sounds great. I mean, we do need these kind of reminders as well, that because in the end, we're not just code makers. We're also human. We have emotions.
Yes.
We need empathy. We need to feel valued as humans when we're doing our role. And while sometimes conferences are regarded as a place of having fun, it's actually a place of knowledge sharing in the first place, and then all the other things like having fun, enjoying, just add up in that way to ingest things. Because look at Devoxx UK, it starts at 9 a.m.
Yeah.
It's the content sharing starts at 9 a.m. Just to be clear, to enter the door, to register, to get your badge, it's even earlier. Then you go to attend sessions. They have breaks of 10 minutes, but you are actually ingesting a lot of information, and you need a way to do that digestible. It's still a mental effort to go to talks, understand the concepts there, and not just be flooded with information that you're going to forget. You want to remember that because that's going to help you in your role. Same with the mini labs and all the other content that's going on here. So I pretty much like saying that the conferences is like knowledge sharing on steroids, because you're pretty much learning everything and you're gearing up, like going to the gym, like, oh yes, I'm getting stronger now with this and that and that and that. And it gives you, and you can watch that on YouTube. So, but some experiences are only here, and only available at the venue. Like for example, media labs, they're guided by experts, and we could record those, but it would be very dull for somebody watching and not benefiting from the person that actually guides them to do those next to them and telling them how to do that better.
Yeah, that's it.
Diving to the technical aspect, your other talk is about observability for everyone.
Yes.
What do you mean for everyone?
So I come from a front-end background predominantly, albeit happily to dabble in Java back-end services. When I was an engineer, that's what I did for a long time. And sometimes I think we focus too much on the back end side of things. You know, we have amazing tools available like OpenTelemetry where we can capture the signals in Java with not that much effort if we make use of automatic instrumentation, for example. And, you know, these are the things that I would use to identify performance bottlenecks or issues. But if the issue is in the front end, it becomes a bit more murky. And we also need to make sure that we are able to combine that front end and back end picture. Because if you work on, as I've been speaking to people here at Devoxx UK, working on really complex web systems with microservices that might not be so micro, that connecting into a front end as well, you need to figure out where that performance bottleneck or issue is. So what I wanted to do was talk about how to do front to back observability, but also join it with other particular tools that people might not realize are out there and exist. So the three main tools I talk about are synthetic monitoring, which is where not only can you ping a service to see if it's alive on a schedule, you can now actually use automation frameworks to automate the clicks and things that users do and hopefully catch a failure or an issue before they report it. We talk about OpenTelemetry, not just in the back end, but how to use the baggage propagation and OpenTelemetry web to join those things together. And then we briefly talk about RUM agents as well and how they can be used too, and the types of information that are useful when you're actually faced with a situation. You know, what type of metrics and traces should you be gathering? What's useful, what's not? So that was kind of the intention.
Very interesting. I mean, that's indeed something new, especially for me, which I'm mostly the backend developer. It's to hear like, oh, so there are ways to do that for the front, more dedicated for the front end and combine all these tools. That's amazing. Thank you so much for giving up your time to be here and sharing all these amazing sessions and spending time in the hallway track to talk to people.
Yes.
Folks, follow Carly on social media. I'm sure that you're quite approachable when people want to ask questions.
Yes.
Yes, follow her, ask her questions, all about how to be a great leader, all about how to care about the people that are around you, but also on how to be a great engineer as well. You're an inspiration. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Anna. It was great chatting to you.
And folks, you'll have the videos available on the Devoxx channel. Give those a watch. Share your opinion, your feedback. Reach out to Carly and enjoy the rest of the content available on the channel.